Hello, thank you for joining me on 8 I Am Maggie. Okay, so I want to just get this party started by saying Happy Chinese New Year. This is the year of the rabbit, so if that's you, congratulations, it's your year all year. And I just want to say Happy Chinese New Year. So good time, follow your bliss this year and every year. Okay, so, and also we're this year really wanting to kind of pay attention to the planets, to the earth, to our new moon wishes, and as they come true each month, and always being grateful to the Creator. So we are going to get back to what we've been doing here. Excuses Be Gone by Dr. Wayne Dyer. Okay, so why are we doing this book? Because it is a book on how to change lifelong self-defeating thinking habits. And so if you pick up even one tool from this book, and I'm sure you'll pick up more than one, it could change your life and the lives of those around you. And since we are game changers, we're moving in those waves of energy, we're wanting to lift people up. We're going to bump you up. I don't know if anybody remembers that, but we're getting back. We are in chapter 15. This is the third part of the book, the more action part. Chapter 15, the fourth question: what would my life look like if I couldn't use these excuses? And we are on 3. So 3 is, I'm not strong enough and I'm not smart enough. Ugh. What if you couldn't have these excuses? If you were incapable of believing that you're deficient physically and intellectually, and you'd focus on the opposite instead. So in the Hermetics, and not that I'm the expert in anything, but they tell you that things are actually one energy. And there's different temperatures within that energy. So love, whatever, and hate. So you would be, if you're way down on the hate end, you're going to be vibrating here. But if you gently begin to move to the other pole, at a certain point, you're going to shift into a temperature where that becomes love. That can also be with fear and courage, right? You're fearful, being courage. And the next thing you know, you're in the opposite pole of the same energy. So that's what we're wanting to do here. So what if you focused on the opposite idea? You'd think thoughts like the following, which reflects a new mindset. I'm as strong as I need to be to accomplish anything I place my attention on. I'm a creative genius. Oh, Dr. Joe Dispenza, a piece of the divine creator. Therefore, I have in my possession all of the brain power that I'll ever need to fulfill my desires of my choosing. And what I would like to add are heart power. Before you object to these lofty self-pronouncements, remind yourself that the point of this exercise is to help you imagine, like Josiah Brandt and Brian Scott and Elmer O'Locker, highlighting Neville Goddard's work, and Reverend Ike, who talk about how imagination is your Christ consciousness. It's how you create the outcomes you want and you live in the end. So, before you object to these lofty self-pronouncements, remind yourself that the point of this exercise is to help you imagine a new existence without your old mental crutches. And if anybody knows anything about using crutches, You get injury, then you get the crutches, and you utilize the crutches until you can drop the crutches and get back to full health. So a crutch is never anything that you want to use for long periods of time. You use it while that ankle, hip, whatever is broken, and then once it's healed or strained or sprained or whatever it is, and we can compare that with our, emotional, spiritual healing. But once we are well enough, we want to drop the crutches. Okay, so without these excuses, what would you look like? Here again, you'd bask in the exquisite belief that you possessed all that physically and intellectually abilities you could ever need. So you possess them all the physical and intellectual abilities that you need. Your life would flow naturally from a position of supreme confidence in yourself and all of your God-given natural abilities. You take risks and be capable of trying anything, content with whatever results were to ensue. You exude courage because you be able to manufacture doubtful thoughts. You be unable, let me try this again. You take risks and be capable of trying anything, content with whatever results were to ensue. You'd exude courage because you'd be able to manufacture, you'd be unable to manufacture doubtful thoughts that manifest as excuses. So literally when you begin to make these shifts, and if you do the work will do you. When you start to make these shifts and you start to move up that temperature gauge and hit a new pole, the trying stops. And I know that when we surrender over to God's will, it can be a lot. The wave can be collapsed quickly and you can move into the next positive place. But sometimes there takes like Reverend Ike says, right here and right now, I am healthy. Right here and right now, money loves me and money is coming to me. And with that kind of positive thinking, we begin to make that shift into the pole we want to be. Reverend Ike also talks about, and numerous teachers talk about this, most people can't get what they want because they don't know what they want. If you ask them, they couldn't tell you. We want to get very clear on our one chief aim. Or if we have more than one aim, we need to really imagine wisely what we want to create so that the universe can actually speak back to you in Maggie or in Brian or in Josiah or in Jenny Wow or in Presence or in Shveta or in any Erez and Lily and Sparkle and Lisa and OK Godman, whatever. So the universe can begin to speak to you in a language that you understand. Okay. So you'd never compare yourself to others or evaluate your abilities on the basis of what others do. How you measure up to the performance levels of others would have no bearing on you or what you attempt. And you'd know that God doesn't make mistakes. That's right. God don't make mistakes. You are a divine being that God made on purpose. And Effie, you are amazing. Okay, so whatever levels of personal strength and intellectual proficiency you possess, they're absolutely perfect. In short, you be content. Grateful for who you are and all that you've been given in both the physical and perceptual realms. So without these excuses, how would you feel? So I also want to say this too. God don't make no mistakes. So you want to keep asking yourself, what is it that I can do differently today to have the life and to see myself the way God sees me? Just begin to walk in that direction. What would I do? What would I do if I didn't fear failure? And then be brave and courageous enough to do it. Because you know what? You are game changers. And we are aware that we get knocked down 9 times, but we get up 10. And that means those 9 times we get knocked down, we learned something. And it gave us wisdom. So we're not worried because we know we're going to rise on the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16, eternity times. So we're not discouraged. Okay, so without these excuses, how would you feel? The most noticeable feelings you'd be experiencing would be self-assurance and personal pride. You'd have a sense of bliss stemming from being completely satisfied with who you are. You'd feel awe and pleasure about the miracle of your mind and body. You'd no longer cast your gaze outward and feel inadequate by comparison. Instead, you'd look inward. Everyone knows it's inward. And feel peaceful and blessed, independent of the opinions of others. So without these excuses, the alternative thoughts, without these excuses, what alternative thoughts would you have? I'd love to hear it in the comments. With no more excuses about mental, physical inadequacies, you'd engage in all kinds of new and nourishing beliefs. Your first one might be something like, I have all the mental and physical tools I need to actualize my dream I've ever had. Oh wait, what? I have all the mental and physical tools I need to actualize any dream I've ever had. Okay, there we go. Boom. All I need to do is maintain my passion, and all of the assistance I need will come to me. Yes. So be it. See through to it. Without excuses, there won't be any way of creating obstacles for yourself, because you won't see obstacles as obstacles. They'll just be things that you have to overcome. And there'll be wisdom makers. Inside every failure is wisdom. Perceived failure. But just thinking I am strong or I am smart begins to stop the excuse-making modes in their tracks. Pump the brakes. With the positive attitude of, I can do it, I have all that I need right here and right now, you're on the way to fulfilling the destiny that was in that tiny little embryo that became you. You. That little embryo knew nothing of limitations, weakness, stupidity, and the like. That's right. It had a divine nature. It was perfect. And it had everything it needed in the way of mental and material strength to fulfill the destiny that it signed up to accomplish. I want to say something though. The more that we know, the less we know, of course. But there is a lot of research now that shows that the baby, from the very beginning of when the cells, the sperm and the egg and all that, and then the embryo, and then they grow, that they're completely conscious and they are aware and they're taking in all the information, what mommy's feeling, what daddy's feeling, what's going on in the environment. So, there is a part in here where it says, the little embryo knew nothing of limitations, weakness, stupidity, and the like. So I'm not saying every time a baby's born, there's infinite possibilities for every single one of us at any point in the time of our life, even in my time and older times. But the bottom line is, if you are pregnant, watch what you're thinking, watch where you're around, watch who you're talking to, daddies and mommies, love on that baby, the music you play, it's going in. There's a lot of awareness. And as we become more aware, we're going to have more and more conscious little babies that are going to be here on this planet, those indigo kids, and more and more and more. those little Jesus babies and those little Thoth babies are going to be coming in to be those game changers on this planet. So imagine wisely for them. So once the excuses are gone, there will be nothing to stop you from thinking and acting in harmony with the gifts that you were given at the moment of your transition from non-being to being, from spirit to form, from nowhere to now here. Boom. You are now here. So I hope this reading is benefiting you. If you would, in the comments, please add how you might be thinking or feeling about these things, or if anything you might be implementing, or anything you want to share. I appreciate your positive comments. When you do get a chance, hit the like button. Don't be afraid to hit the like button. I really appreciate the support. And hit the subscribe button. And thank you so much for joining me. I'm thankful for you. All right, so happy Chinese New Year. And you know what's next. You know what's next. Peace in and peace out.